Hey, happy New Year's Eve, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rayge, and we are back today with our monthly update here in regards to how the gold economy has been. But I want to change things up a little bit, seeing as how we're starting off the new year pretty shortly here. I wanted to do a full-on recap of everything that's happened in terms of the gold activity, but more importantly, I didn't want to make this video too long as well because we've gotten a lot of information from the monthly updates I've done. So if you guys wanted to get a recap of the previous months, all the way dating back to when I first started this in 2023, I'll have every single video listed below that gives you a recap of the full month, basically the total spending versus the gold earned and how we have arrived at where we are today. But before we do, guys, I do want to just share some insight here in terms of how this all started. If you recall, what really kind of irked me and triggered this revelation and me wanting to understand what was happening was starting in December 2023. My November 30th balance hit a 4.5 million gold low. This was probably one of the lowest times I've ever had this gold balance in my account. And that for me intrigued me because it gave me an opportunity here to kind of rethink, should we just standardize and spend a set amount, per day and maintain that budget for the full year? Kind of like how you would, right? If you're, earning a salary on a month-to-month basis, obviously you check what your expenses are and what your income is. And at the end of the day, if you're planning correctly, based on what we're seeing in the game, we should be able to save if that's kind of what your priorities are, right? So we saw a snapshot of this once again. This was the very, very first time that I did this, which was the December 2023 update. And you can see my gold balance went from 4.5 million gold to 45.7. And that was because I, gave myself a task. I was only going to spend 2.77 million gold per day, every single day for those full 31 days in December. That actually, when you reverse engineer the math, essentially equates to us earning 137 million gold for the month of December when you net that obviously after the 2.77 gold per day. So for me, I just did this every single month. I just went through every single month using the same calculation. What was my previous starting balance? How much gold did I spend per day? And if there were any days that I spent more, that's when I would keep track of it. And that's essentially what has reconciled to the gold balance that we see now. But this was a very intriguing opportunity for me because when I saw this increase, when I finally saw and understanding what was happening, something for myself, being a 5-year veteran of this game and being free to play, I've never understood the true gold economy in this game. How much were we actually earning free to play given the events, and when certain events and whatnot were getting released, or maybe certain teams, maybe specific bonus opportunities, how much of the gold economy does that get impacted? And we have the full data now, guys. We have the full 2024 year. But before I show you, I do want to just talk to you about my strategy plan because this was such an insight that it really blew me away. I love data. I love working with analytics, and understanding this gives us a strategy and a game plan to execute. So, as I alluded to earlier, if we budgeted every single day, let's just say X million gold per day, it should translate to savings, right? Especially if you understand what we're spending versus what we're saving. At the end of the day, if you're managing that correctly, it's like how you would normally manage your life with money coming in, and then obviously allocating that to expenses that you need to have, the necessities versus the luxuries. If we could keep this up for the entire year, would we be able to maintain the meta? Would we be able to keep up in the game with certain priorities that we have in the game and save gold? That's kind of like, when I'm earning a set salary, would I still be able to maintain the things that I enjoy, like working out? Maybe there's certain hobbies I want to entertain, and I want to maintain that with my current level of spending. That's the same kind of approach, and that's the exact same kind of mindset I want to apply for this game, especially since we're so heavy into resource management with Marvel Strike Force. And then lastly, for the big intrigue for me was how much gold are we actually earning completely free to play, and how would that get impacted by the meta that we see? And now, guys, we do actually have all the information here. But it really kind of comes back to the last and final month, which is the December 2024 update. You can see this is the sample of basically what I've done every single month. I tried to at least kind of identify some of the key events. And for me, Logan Trials returning, the Winter's Peak Sword Satellite. Obviously, we have the Frozen Dimensions, but for myself, I didn't actually get through it because I did not build up Absolute A-Force, so I'm not going to include that here. But if you did, Obviously, some of those opportunities and rewards would be higher than what you see here. But once again, similar to what we've seen in my past reconciliation videos, right? We ended the November balance at 322 million gold. So we have to back that out. And then we add back what we actually spent. 186 million gold per day, because we're now spending 6 million gold per day to maximize golden opportunity. And I did have a little bit of excess spending here and there. I think this was tied back to just some little roster upgrades here and there, but it wasn't much. As you can see, 6 million extra, which gives us the 192. But I ended up with a 432 million gold balance, as you see in the screenshot below, as of December 31st. So my gold balance went up by 110 million. Once again, my gold spending only being 192 when you do that math, giving us a net here of 302 million gold actually earned true in the month of December here, which is a very strong finish for what we've already kind of seen for really the entirety of 2024. Now, what I've done then is I've gone through and I've actually just added in every single month here what I earned, what I spent, and the net, right? And there's a couple of things that kind of stick out, but I'm really liking the direction of the game right now in terms of the economy, because, you know, we have, you know, for the longest time complained about the gold economy not being good and not being good enough. But time and time again, I just have to, you know, give my my justification and obviously credit to the work we've done over tracking it. And so far, they seem to be honoring what they've promised to us, which is a better and stronger gold economy, as well as keeping up with the meta. Now, the meta may be completely dependent on what you want to achieve in your game, and obviously what I'm showing on here is going to be subjective to your own experience, but I'm just going to talk about my experience here, and this is what's working for myself. But what I really find interesting is that if you look here, in the first 5 months of the year, we were not even close to the 200 million mark in terms of gold, right? And all of a sudden, in the later half, starting June, we just expedited it. So it's them ramping things up, but also identifying that they understood that we needed more gold to obviously offset the teams that they were releasing, the events, and so forth. Having said that, the gold spending also went up, because this is the first year where they released 2 Dark Dimension events. We have DD7 for Mephisto and DD8 for Odin. So obviously, having those two working in tandem with each other, it obviously resulted in higher spending. But for the most part anyways, guys, even though we ramped up our spending in terms of the June to December activity, our gold income was also getting eclipsed there, and it was also actually going to skyrocketing levels. Although December was a strong finish, it still was not as high as September, because September was a bit of an anomaly where both September and October had that repeated Shattered Dimension event, so it added quite a bit of gold there, and as well, obviously, the announcement of Dark Dimension 8. But what I want to bring to you are the averages and what we're seeing, right? It seems for the most part now, ever since June of 2024, we're getting easily north of 200 million gold per month. So if you're even just spending 6 million gold per day to maximize your golden opportunity, you're going to be saving. We actually earned a total of 2.6 billion in gold, but we also spent 2.4 billion to offset that again. So really, the resulting difference is what you probably have saved, depending on where you ended up in terms of your investment. But the average per month, anyways, for the entirety of 2024 was 223 million gold per month. Was spending about 199 again for myself, because my priorities are arena, raid, new content, legendary events, and as well as the Dark Dimension. So this is the entirety of it, guys. This is basically my resume here. For almost a full year, we maintained the top 10 to top 20 position for arena. That translated well to my power cores. It's why I've conserved and saved so much, and it's given me the opportunity to really push events when I wanted to, right? Especially when ISO 8 was first released with ions and those crystals, I really pushed it for those summer months leading into Dark Dimension 8. We even unlocked every single legendary character release upon the first time. Old Man Logan, as well as Shadow King. Obviously, I wish there was more, but for the first time in a long time, we've only had 2 legendary characters this year, because I think Odin was going to be, but then he pivoted into a Dark Dimension. But that didn't stop us. We ended up with a top 4,000 rank in Mephisto Dark Dimension 7. We ended up in top 3,200 with Odin Dark Dimension 8. And again, guys, I am free to play. I'm 100% free to play. No battle passes, no strike passes, nothing. And we were able to get all these kind of rankings in our account. Having said that, you'll notice that I don't mention Crucible or War, because those two are definitely on the bottom of my priorities when I'm taking a look at everything else that I personally find value in. Especially if you're free to play, you have to choose your battles in terms of what you want to prioritize and what you want to do well in. But what I'm really pleased about is the fact that we've been able to maintain and keep up every single one of these kind of milestones and still not have to pay for the game. So that for me is very promising for the 2025 year, guys. I'm really liking where the gold direction is going in the game, because not only have they addressed that, but especially if you're like myself and you are heavily in the end game now and you're free to play, well, guess what? It's going in the right direction. I hope they keep it up, and this is a strong finish to 2024. So this is the same thesis I've kind of alluded to in my past videos, which is, and it hasn't changed, so that's why I want to keep sharing it, which is spending 6 million gold per day continues to build your gold supply, whether it's Dark Dimension 7, Dark Dimension 8, new teams. Obviously, if you're newer to the game, there's going to be a lot more content. There's going to be a lot more characters that you can build upon, and it may require higher investment than what I showed you because I'm already in the end game, and those are my spending levels. Having said that, remember, anything that you spend on now is going to be investment later on, especially if characters or teams get reworked. More recently, obviously, the announcement of the Uncanny Avengers, Mighty Avengers, and Immortal X-Men, they, leverage a lot of past characters that are going to get reworked, and obviously there's value to be had when you've already invested in them. So, yeah, gotta give credit where credit's due, guys. Gold economy is super strong right now. I hope they keep this up, but remember, even if the economy is good, it's how you allocate those resources at the end of the day, and that's going to translate to your success in the game. And that's why I am where I am right now, and I hope I can continue to translate the success into 2025. Because, like I said earlier, you can see even in this most recent screenshot, we got over 400 million in gold. We have almost 40,000 in power cores. I'm planning to use some for Jean Grey when she does come into the game here pretty shortly. But that's what it's allowed me to do, guys. Resource management all the way, because I've been able to prioritize the game modes that I see value in. And once again, that's just my opinion, but you guys can play how you enjoy the game as well, right? But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But it's been a huge year for 2024, especially for Marvel Strike Force. And we're going to look to continue this going forward, and I'll continue to make monthly updates. And as per usual, if you guys want to see the previous month videos, I'll add that below. But yeah, it's been a great year, guys. Happy 2024, and we'll be back with more content as per usual. Thank you for your time as always, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.